What is up everyone, it's TK, and Clash of Clans has finally listened to us and they are bringing a balance changes in the February update. So what are we having in these balance changes and what is going to be the nerfs and the buffs coming with the equipment? So let's dive in and see this video. So first we're going to be looking at the nerfs, and you can already see we got the fireball, the earthquake boots, we got the electro boots and the invisibility spell. So let's see what happens. Obviously the earthquake boots used to kill the skellies, but from the February update it will no longer do that. That means the king will be stuck behind skeleton traps if you put him in the core, or even maybe behind the core, or kind of like just playing around with the Sui part of the king. You can actually keep him at least in a certain area, and at the same time the damage will be nerfed, as you can see, throughout different levels. And throughout level 18 the damage will actually be, kind of nerfing quite a lot. 33%, that's 1/3 of the damage getting removed from the king's earthquake boots. Now moving to the fireball, this may be a bit confusing, so I'm gonna explain what Supercell has told us. This is what Supercell has said. We've moved the last radius upgrade to a higher equipment level, and this change is aimed at keeping things fair in competitive play so the fireball doesn't feel overpowered in the meta. Now what does this mean? This means in the level 21, that's when you used to get full radius. So 6 radius is the maximum radius for the fireball. You used to get that with only having level 21 equipment, which is that same level that obviously it comes to the hard mode. So now they've moved that, so level 21 you will have 5 tile kind of radius. So the fireball in the competitive scene and hard mode, and if you're a lower level fireball, it's gonna go down to 5 radius in the level 21, and I believe later on the level 24 or 27, I'm not sure, we don't have enough info on that, but if you're on level 24 or 27, that's when you're gonna get the 6 maximum radius tiles. So that's basically the nerf. If you already have the fireball on level 27, there is no nerf to it. There is no nerf to the damage or radius. Everything is as same as it used to be. It's just about the competitive scene, and also of course those who are just beginning to use the fireball and not upgrading it much, because you don't need to necessarily, as we're getting the maximum tiles already on level 21. So this is gonna move, and it's gonna be a bit harder to reach that maximum tile of 6, but it's gonna be a good change for the competitive and esports scene. Next up, what everyone been waiting for, we do have the self-healing per second and the aura damage of the electro boots getting nerfed. You can see the numbers. We're just gonna jump to level 27 or 26, as a lot of people already have that level. If you're having a low level, obviously electro boots, it's still gonna be viable. Supercell, it's still gonna be fine with a lot of invisibility spells. Obviously this change is not a crazy, massive, insane change that is gonna completely dust down on equipment. It's just a change to make it more balanced and make it kind of like other equipments also being used for the RC, which we'll get to that very soon when the buffs is coming. Now let's look at the level 27. It's gonna get 25% less, and it's gonna be 64.45. That is decent. That is decent, but I'm here to say, obviously it's like, okay, look at it at level 45. Okay, sorry, look at it at level 27. The new level 27 will give you 45 healing. This is basically the old level 21. Everyone already had their equipment on that level. I've not been attacked with a single person that had lower equipment than that, and there's a lot of people who don't have it maxed. But was it really that good? Like, I mean, the equipment didn't feel any different. If you put 10 giant bombs, RC is still not gonna die. That's the thing, right? So this change itself, it may not be as effective, and that's why we're getting an aura damage also nerfed. So at level 70 and 27, we're gonna get 20%. That is literally 1/5 gone. This is, again, not a change that is gonna completely dust down an equipment, and that was not what Supercell was looking for. They didn't want to completely break an equipment when everyone spent money and time and ores into it to get it maxed. That would be a bit unfair to a lot of people who are free to play players and are upgrading their equipment. So I think, in general speaking, this is a good change, but noticing the level 21 is where you see the big difference. The level 21 is where in tournaments a lot of people use that equipment, with the RC charge and also the invisibility spell, which we'll get very soon. But then looking at the level 21 healing, guys, it's 39. That is a lot, because 39, and if you're a Legends attacker, you're used to 60. So basically, you're going from 60 to 39 in a tournament attack. That is crazy. That may actually change the meta in tournaments. I'm not quite sure. We have to look at it and see what happens. Me personally, I think because the Roots Riders are still really, really heavy, I think the meta in tournaments will still be there, especially in Legends as well. Maybe tournaments will have a few different armies, obviously, because it's hard mode, you have different plans and everything, you have more time. But in Legends League, I think Root Rider and the RC charge is still going to be viable. But notice, because these armies took only 5 invisibility spell or sometimes 4, we do have a nerf to the invisibility spell time duration. Now, don't worry about number of hits. That is kind of a bug. It's just not there. Invisibility doesn't do hits, right? It's a bug. Don't worry about it. Only thing that is getting nerfed is the duration. So at level 24, which everyone has it in that level, it's gonna be not as good. Yes, I would prefer if it's only 4 seconds. And do not forget, the invisibility spell actually did get a nerf before this when the super archers was really strong. So they already made a duration nerf and also a nerf to the radius back then, because if you forgot, the invisibility tower used to be, the invisibility spell used to be a bit bigger. Now it's smaller and it's going to be less time in it. Now, does this affect the Royal Champion charge alone? No, it doesn't. The 25 like percent that is kind of gone from this, not 25%, you mean, you know what I mean, 25 from the 100th. But this change, it's not going to be visible, but I think it's good because not many people are going to get used to it, and some people start counting their invisibility spell. This may affect in RC charge in a way that the RC will be visible, taking more hits. Then that healing thing comes in handy when it's nerfed, and then you get more giant bombs and giga bombs, making her less HP. And if they're not used to it again, the RC is just gonna lose some HP at least in the RC charge itself. This will automatically mean if you're gonna recall her or revive her, she's gonna have less HP to help your army. This is how Supercell chose the path to go ahead and nerf this entire RC charge altogether in a way that is not fully still broken, but it's not fully down to the ground. So it's something that people still can use. It's just gonna take more kind of focus, more skill, and more patience. Something that I would recommend you, obviously, in all your attacks, if you're doing those legends or tournaments or war attacks, just be patient, give this RC go, and just give her some time to kind of recover in the attacks. Don't put her into insane situation with heavy damage into town hall charges. It's gonna be a bit more risky, so do more practice if you want to still be ahead of those players. Now, let's look at the balance changes coming with the buffs to these equipments. We do have, of course, the Vamp Stash, the Barbarian and Archer Puppet. Literally, Supercell mentioned to us that these two equipments, the Barbarian and Archer, are just for the lower players who are just beginning to unlock a hero and they want to have a good ability. Now, they're gonna get a lot of increase in HP and health recovery of their heroes. So you can already see the DPS also increasing on the Archer Puppet, and the health recovery is quite a bit getting kind of changed. So it's a good change in my opinion for those lower players. The Vamp Stash, also one of the equipments that has not been getting used a lot. Obviously, the Vamp Stash is the only equipment in my account that is not even leveled up. I don't want to even invest any ores in it. I don't see a point in it. I think it does need a rework, something to make it completely, I would say, not broken, but a lot more useful. So it would have to be something with the king being crazy HP or something, you know, obviously, otherwise it's just not going to get used because we do have a lot of better equipments. Now, we do have the buffs also to that raid gem, or sorry, life gem of the warden. It's going to be the second buff this equipment receives, and you can already see the first one was not too good. Okay, so now they're gonna buff it again so people can use it more, and the buff is actually quite interesting. because it gets 20% in the maximum HP increase. That is 1/5 of the entire HP of that troop getting back to them. It's crazy. I know, don't worry. Now, HP increase is for the heroes, DPS increase is again for the heroes, and it's quite nice to have that. I don't know if it's still gonna be viable or people gonna use it instead of the healing tome or the raid gem, but I think we're gonna see it more in tournaments where people have that extra damage on defense and they have less HP obviously on their heroes. Now we do have the Royal Gem also, which Supercell mentioned is one of the equipment that is absolutely not being used. Obviously you have Hawk Puppet, the Haste Vial, the new epic equipment for the RC, and the old epic equipment, the Rocket Spear. These equipments alone, they are too good. You have so many combination just with the 4 of these. So the shield and the Royal Gem is one of those equipments that is not being used as much, but now obviously for the lower town halls, when they have that kind of, I would say, common equipments already, when they unlock the RC, they can have better attacks and they can get more epic equipments in future, which they can combine with the Royal Gem if they need to. Obviously the Royal Gem, I think in my opinion, it still needs a lot of buff, completely maybe fully recover our CHP. That's when it's gonna get used. Imagine you put her with that, for example, kind of Haze Val, Royal Gem, pop the ability when she's low and she gets full HP back, then she goes invisible and then the base is gone. You can see already how these things can affect in the meta, but obviously personally, I think these nerfs were necessary. I don't know if it's going to affect the Legends League in high legends that much, but I think it's a good path into the right direction. So let's see what happens in the future. And the update in February will have, I think, more and more sneak peeks. So hopefully one day I'll be able to bring that for you. And if you want to be there to see it, make sure you stay tuned on the channel, man. So take care and have an amazing day. Peace.